quick fix of the week brought to you by Doggone Handy, professional handyman services. So it may not be as quick, but it is very important. Very, very important. If you're a homeowner, you have to know these 5 things that pertain to every homeowner within the sound of my voice. Let's get on them. The 5 things you need to know to be a homeowner. Number 1, how to shut off the water. All right, there's a water shut-off at your house, generally, and there is one at the street, so you have 2. Find them both and know how to use them. Any plumbing problem becomes less a problem the second you cut off the water. If you have a water leak, a burst pipe in the house, you can shut off the one to the house. If you see it in the yard, shut off the one from the street, and you're good to go. Now, note that the plumbing shut-off at the street may require a special key. It's not a key like you would think. It's not like a lock to your house kind of key. It's a U-shaped piece of metal on the end of a long stick, so you can lift the lid to the street and stick it down there and get both sides of the valve and shut it. Okay, you may not have one of those. If not, go to the hardware store. Tell them you need a plumbing key to shut off the water at your house. Get it and know how to use it. It's not hard to use. It's just a little bit different than what you may be expecting. So that's 2 things you have to know right there. It's all under the first category, how to shut the water off at your house and how to shut the water off at your street. That all falls under how to shut off water. Number 2, know where your HVAC on-off switch is. Another very important thing. This switch is generally found near the furnace, and it usually, more times than not, resembles a light switch. If you've ever been in your furnace, or if you've ever had people in your furnace room and you walk out and about 6 hours later you go, hey, the air conditioning's not working, it's because somebody has shut off that switch. Because it looks like a light switch, and people are used to shutting off the light switch when they leave a room. Go down there and flip that switch back on if it's off, and it'll work great. This is very important. If you have an emergency and you have a little bit of time on your hands, I know in an emergency you're helter-skelter, but if you're in the basement or in your room where the furnace is, the AC, and you have a second, shut that off. Nothing worse than a fire in your house, which is bad enough, but you don't want it sucking up in the returns and blowing out the vents. So shut it down if you can, if you safely can. Number 3, how to shut down your electrical system. You need to know where the main breaker is. Could be in the circuit box, could be in a disconnect outside. You need to know. Older boxes, if you live in an older home with an older electrical system, it may require turning off each breaker individually, but you need to know that. Know how yours works and where it's located. Side note to this, if you're in there clicking away with your breakers, take a second and figure out which breaker controls what in the house. This will come in handy often. And just a warning, this is really a 2-person job with potentially a lot of yelling. So if you can get your wife in there to help you. Is it off? It's off! Is it off? No? Is it off? Basement! A lot of yelling. You can vent some frustration just by figuring out which breaker works where. 4th thing you have to know, where is the fire? You should have working smoke detectors located in every sleeping room, that's by code, plus in hallways and gathering rooms. You can also put them in mechanical rooms and in your garage as well. Newer detectors, if you get a newer smoke detector, they will sync up with the other smoke detectors in your house. So if you have a fire, if there's smoke in the house and one detector goes off, the newer ones will set them all off at once, which is a big plus. Also, you can get them so that they're voice command. You hear Neil talking about safety systems for your house and how you can get a voice command. You can get smoke detectors like that too, because studies have shown, especially with children, children will respond better to a voice. So if they hear mom's voice in the middle of the night saying, wake up, get out of the house, there's a fire, it's just a lot easier. So you can get them that way too. That's a recommended way, by the way. And number 5, how do I get out of my house? Every resident in the house has to know the best and second best way out of every room in the house. You need to have escape plans that include rope ladders where applicable and a meeting place outside so you can count heads. Those are the 5 things you have to know: how to shut off the water, how to shut off your HVAC, how to shut down your electrical, where is the fire, smoke detectors, and how do I get out. The Quick Fix of the Week is brought to you by Doggone Handy Professional Handyman Services. They're Atlanta's most trusted and reliable handyman solution. See them on the web at doggonehandy.com.